guys, welcome back again, and Dave's Dimension, welcome back again for another video. Welcome back again to the channel that is your home for tech, toys, and talk. And of course, the channel where chaos and insanity will always reign supreme. So we got another episode of Dimension Tech. The question I want to pose to everybody is, has Apple gotten rotten? When it comes to the Apple ecosystem, iPhone, the watches, everything that they have going on, is it a bit much? And does it leave you with a bitter taste at times? Okay, we're going to get into this. Now, I'm going to pull up T-Mobile because that's my cell carrier, obviously. I have no affiliation with them, but I want to take a look at the lack of innovation when it comes to iPhones. Now, I currently have an iPhone 14 Pro Max, okay? We got the 14 Pro Max. We got our George Jefferson hairline, our little floating bubble, our unibrow, if you will, right up there, right? But here's the thing. Let's take a look back. Let's go all the way back in the time. Here we go. We got the old style. This is when innovation jumped. When we went from the iPhone SE and we quantum leaped over to the 13s, we had this George Jefferson hairline that kind of came down a little bit, right? We had that George Jefferson hairline that came down. And this was like, oh, this is something different because they had to hide their camera. They didn't want to do what other people have done. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. But they also said, hey, let's also make it functional. So they turned it into the island. Okay? They turned it into island where we get this floating little bar here. Right? We got the unibrow. We went from the George Jefferson hairline to having a unibrow, right? And that's where some of our notifications will pop up. There is some functionality to it. But aside from the screen and that floating island, the back of the phone looks pretty damn the same. If you look at it, this is an iPhone 14 Pro Max. It looks identical. Now I'm going to go back. And we're going to pull up an iPhone 16 Pro Max. It looks essentially the same. If I click on, it looks identical. It looks like I'm holding the same phone. I'm not. That's the thing. There's an intense lack of innovation when it comes to it's one thing to have functionality, to be able, hey, I can do this, I can do that, I can do that. But you know what? It's another thing to say, look at my phone. My phone should be, a lot of times when it comes to a lot of people who are tech heads, and let's just put it out there, guys. Everyone and anyone is on social media. A lot of times if you're taking a video or someone's curious, hey, what do you use? You know, you pull out your phone, you show them, hey, I'm using this for recording my vlogs. I'm using this for road trips. Or, hey, this is what I use for, my YouTube videos. A phone used to be a status. It used to be a status symbol. But when your phone looks the same, when you can't distinguish the difference between a 14 and a 16, that's a good 2 years difference, 2 years and change, that you can't tell the difference. So it begs the question, why is Apple not taking chances? Why are they not, hey, let's go to this, like with Samsung. They did some curved screens. They've done some experimenting with the shape and conformity of their bodies when it comes to this, or the chassis, if you will, or if you're fancy, the chassis. It begs the question, why not? Apple's kind of like, well, hey, we're going to do very minimum changes. Oh, we're going to make the screen, we're going to increase it by 0.2. We're going to increase the body by that. Oh, we're swapping out the material of the aluminum, or however you want to say it. Aluminum. They do very little changes. They've done hardware changes. They've made quantum leaps when it comes to the guts of your phone, how well the camera performs. They've done some amazing functionality changes, advancements in the function, the capability of your phone. AI assistants. They've been doing a lot of quantum leaps when it comes to the hardware, but it still looks the same. It's kind of like, hey, if I'm driving, let's say, a a Ford Escape, but it happens to have the engine of a Corvette in it, nobody's going to know from the outside unless I'm revving it and leaving a cop in my dust. Let's be honest. That's kind of how it comes off. If you're rocking a station wagon, but it's got the horsepower to blow anybody out of the out of the gates, it's kind of like, well, I'd like to, not just me, but a lot of other people, you like to have a little bit of flash. And another thing another gripe I personally have is with the cell phone carriers. Okay, let's just go on a tangent here. Okay, the current colors for the 16 Pro Maxes, we have the white, we have, oh sorry, white titanium, black titanium. Yeah, let's throw titanium at the end to make it sound cooler. It isn't. We have the natural, and then we have desert. Okay, let's just, for craps and laughs, go over to Verizon. Let's see what colors they are offering. Okay, when it comes to a lot of these cell phone companies, they have a lack of color option unless you're going directly through the manager or manufacturer and buying it directly from them. Then you get a floodgate of a wider choice of colors, which really kind of annoys me personally. I don't know about you guys, but tell me, does that annoy the hell out of you? I mean, why restrict the colors? Now we're going to go to, of course, everyone's talking about the Samsungs, but let's go to 16 Pro Max. Nope. Let's click here. No, I don't want the billing address. Just let me. Okay, so we're just, apparently their site's being kind of funny, but again, we have desert, we have white, we have black, we have natural. Okay, now let's go to Apple's main website. Let's order an Apple phone. We're not actually going to order one, but let's just say we're going to take a look at on their website. Oh, let's take a look at the, what do we got here? Again, let's see. Let's take a look at 16 Pro. What colors do we have? Now, of course, their website's got all the fancy. We got to scroll through all this, guys. Sorry. Of course, it's talking about all of its technology and bells and whistles. Before we can see what colors it comes in, they have to talk about all the tech because, do you know why? They want to take away from the fact that they have not changed. Their body still looks the same. We still have the floating island here. They might have shrunk the bezel just a wee bit. But ultimately, there's not a lot of physical change to their phones. They have been playing it safe. Now, they changed out the hardware, showing you the different kinds of lenses, obviously. But when it comes down to it, the phone still looks the same. And begs the question, should you even upgrade? If the phone's going to look the same, should you even upgrade? Here we go. You can compare the specs, which is always nice. Of course, you can gaming in a whole new light. But that's the thing. Look at this. We're still scrolling down, guys. We are still scrolling down. Here. Okay, here. The colors, 16. Now, for the Pro, apparently they only have those 4 colors below. Let's take a look at this. We have more colors for the lower level phones. Now, I'm not putting anyone down if that's what you're looking for and that fits your budget and your use case. More power to you. But look at these vibrant colors. Apple, Samsung, Oppo, everyone out there, give us some color. Stop giving us the tired old rose gold and just rebrand it as desert. Let's be honest, that's what you guys are doing. Basic black, trust me, I will always bet on black. I love me a nice black, solid black phone, okay? Wesley Snipes, always bet on black. You guys know it. That's the thing. It's like you give us the same old tired colors. Give us the opportunity, even if you do it on a limited run, offer some, maybe like a dark burgundy, some blues, some like an electric blue. Give us some options. Even if you're not going to mass produce millions of this phone, how about do some runs? Give us like a 50, maybe a 500,000 run of a particular color, or let people pre-order and see which colors are winning out. If a certain number, it's kind of like with anyone who's a collector, HasLab through Hasbro, any kind of crowdfunding. they will do an interest run. Okay, if we meet this number of orders, then we'll move forward in production, right? If not, we're not going to charge you. How about doing something like that, Apple? Apple, Samsung, Pixel, everybody out there, how about do some interest to see what people actually want? Now, we're going to talk about this in a separate video, but Samsung, they downgraded their phones down to a pen that does not have Bluetooth functionality because they felt, according to their numbers and their research, that only 1% of people actually use the pen. Actually, it's a lot more than that, guys, so calm down. But that's the thing. With Apple, the only innovation is in the technology, okay? We're putting a brand new engine in an old beat up Ford Escort from like 86. Okay? What is that about? I don't know, guys. Now, don't get me wrong. I had an interest in the iPhone 16 Pro Max, but I am not going that route myself. We'll talk about it in a separate video. Excuse me, guys. But what's the lack with Apple? And also, Apple's starting to open up functionality to customizing. We have different colors for the first time ever. We can have different colors icons. We can have some. You can change and customize a few different things. They're kind of opening things up. Customize, stylize, and mesmerize. That's their little credo right this time around. But here's the thing. For years, you cannot customize your phone. Your iPhone, for years upon years, has always been a cluttered mess, right? It's always been a cluttered mess. We'd had to have apps with inside of their own little folders, and it just confuses the hell out of everything, right? What's the use in having an awesome-looking wallpaper if it's cluttered by all of this, right? At least with Android, you can have maybe 3 or 4 folders at the bottom, maybe even 8, however many, and then you can still see a good chunk of your wallpaper, right? You can still see a chunk of your desktop, as it were. So they gave you the functionality to customize, to do a lot more. With Android, you can do custom lighting on your phone. You can do all these different colored notifications with the brand new UI 7 that's coming out. There's so much you can do with Android, but with iPhone, they're just starting to catch up with the stylization. Okay, functionality is one thing. Style, you gotta have a little bit of style, a little bit of class, a little bit of fun, right? But when you get the same old tired offering of colors, it kind of kills it. I would love to have a nice metallic red, like a dark red, like the Deadpool. Maybe a red like that, but metallic blue, metallic green. Now, they've had some olives the past couple of years, but they were some dark olives. How about a nice, forest green? Give us some kind of flavor. If you have, how about this? Maybe, I know it's kind of hard because they are in the line of business, and obviously, if you do more colors, you have the potential of having phones that may not sell at retail price. You have to wait for them to go down in price before they actually start to sell, and you finally go through those colors. But like I said, how about do some crowdfunding? Maybe not crowdfunding, but using that kind of template of, hey, we're opening the pre-order windows, but we want to know what colors you want, okay? If we reach a quota of, this percent or this number, then we're going to go ahead and proceed with going into production with these colors. If it doesn't, then you don't, and then the customer will have to choose something else that made the cuts. Something like that, I think, would make a lot of sense. Also, battery power. Let's be honest. When it comes to battery power, I've noticed on a lot of mobile carrier websites, the way Apple lists their hours is like they'll do it different than what Android does. Android will show you the milliamp hours. You kind of have to go through Apple and try to find out exactly what that translates to when it comes to their phone. Otherwise, you're watching the tech YouTubers like SuperSaf and so many others when they do their battery tests to show how long this is going to work. Now, for me, two of the biggest things when it comes to a cell phone is cameras and battery power. How long is it going to last? Do I have to carry a charger with me? Do I need a power bank with me? Those are things that can be annoying at times. Okay? Those are things that Apple's trying to get better. But the thing is, when Apple is amping up its other hardware, its other functionality, it starts to lack in the battery sometimes. That's the thing. Or, how about this? A phone you've had for maybe 2 years, its battery health is now below, I think I'm at 75, maybe 72% health wise. That's the health of the battery. That's not how much power it charges up to, but it's the health of the battery. If you have a phone that, imagine this. Imagine you are 22, but you go to your doctor and your doctor says, "Geez, you have the body of a 40-year-old." That's not good. That's not good when you are aged so much in such a short time. That's not good. The same thing goes with phones. That's why a lot of us are having to switch our phones every 2 years. Now, there are some people that swap out their phones every year. More power to you. You get the wallet, you get the necessities, or you get the ability. More power to you. Rock it out. Now, a lot of us, it's maybe every 2 or 3 years, right? Most people will trade their phone in, upgrade their phone, and they'll do it every 2 or so years. Now, this year is kind of a bland year for some people. iPhone has their AI out there. Now, here's the thing. They quote here. They quote 33 hours of video playback on the 16 Pro Max, up to 27 video hours playback on the 16 Pro. Now, here's the question. Now, let's say I'm curious. I want more information when they do tests like this. I want to know. Okay, if you did that 33 hours of playback on the 16 Pro Max, what else did you have on your phone? What else did you have on your phone? Here's why I'm asking that, guys. Now, when you get your phone, you have maybe just a handful of apps on there, right? Any real person in 2025, you're going to have a crap ton of apps on your phone. You're going to have tons of apps. Maybe an app for each of your credit cards, an app for your doctor's office, your health chart. Like mine uses my chart, so I have that on there. So imagine like the average person. Let's say they have 4 or 5 credit cards. So they have 4 or 5 banking apps. Maybe their checking account app. Let's say around five apps right there that that basically are most likely running in the background. Okay. Then imagine how many different streaming services you subscribe to. Hulu, Disney Plus, Max, Netflix, the list goes on and on. If you have, for however many apps you have, you may need those apps to set things up on your TV, or maybe you're going on a long ride and you want to watch some video that they say you can do 33 hours up to on the 16 Pro Max. So that's another 4 or 5 apps. Okay, so right now we just added 10 apps just on that alone. Now imagine if you're a gamer, you got your PS app or your Xbox app, right? You may have other apps for just about everything. Let's be honest. Me personally, I showed you guys just a few moments ago. Look, I got all these apps here. All these apps, and some of them, okay, for YouTube. My YouTube, I have iMovie, I have my YouTube app, I also have YouTube Studio, and I have Canva, right? That's not that many. That's 4, right? Okay, here we go. I have Apple TV. I have Fandango, which used to be Vudu, the video on demand. Netflix, Disney Plus, Prime Video, and Hulu and Peacock, right? So that's 7 apps right there. But I have a ton more. For social media, I have Facebook, Twitter, Messenger, Instagram. I mean, these now for banking, I got quite a bit here. Okay, I have an app for my router for controlling my Wi-Fi at home. I have an app for the New York State tolls here. In New York State, when you're going through tolls, you got to put money on your account there, right? I have my T-Life app for T-Mobile. I have my PlayStation app. I have several apps for Amazon Music, and so on, so forth. I mean, there's so much on here. For shopping, I have my eBay, I have Walmart, I have GameStop, I have Amazon, I have Target, I have Etsy, I have Pulse, which is Hasbro. I have Best Buy. There's a lot of apps I have on here. If I go to a movie theater, me and the missus want to go to movie night, we have the Regal app, we have AMC, we have Fandango, we have a few other apps here. You have FedEx, Spotify if you listen to music. You want to Shazam a song, you got that app on here. You got your Chrome browser. I mean, there's so much that you have on here. I have my FedEx app. Since I have Spectrum Internet, I have their app in case I need to troubleshoot stuff. I have FedEx. I have Discord. I have Ride for Roswell. I have Google apps on here. I have Newegg. I have also some apps for, like, if we want to DoorDash or order some food from different restaurants. You have an app for each of those. It adds up. So I want to see a realistic test where you run playback on a phone when you have all these other apps running and you have location services on. So, and I want to see it at peak brightness, at full brightness. I want to see what that realistically relates to, because I'll be honest, I don't think you would realistically get all that. Okay? If you're someone who is a power user, 33 hours of video playback, if I have all these apps running, and let's say we're going across country, we're driving to, we have family in Michigan, or I have good friends down in Carolinas, if I ever did a road trip down there. I mean, 33 hours, how long is that really going to work? How long is that going to relate when it comes down to a power user, someone who's using all these apps all the time? If let's say I just recorded a video and I'm trying to edit it on my phone. Obviously editing takes a lot more power, just like on a computer. If you're editing something, you need to have the top graphics card, you need plenty of RAM, you need plenty of processing power. But do you get that with iPhone? That's the question. The battery power is a big thing. And I'll be honest, ever since I've had this phone, I find myself charging it almost all day long at times. Okay? And no, I'm not using my phone all day long, but I have it on. I have it on my desk. I have it on silent while I'm at work. And guess what? All those apps are still running in the background. What am I supposed to do? Turn my phone off? I can miss some calls, miss an important message from family members. So there's questions about this. Is Apple worth it? And also the fact that Apple, you're restricted to their ecosystem, right? Okay, if you're locked out of your phone, you need to reset your password. You can only do that with an Apple device. So that's why I still have an iPad. It's a little beat up, but I still have my iPad, right? Or your Apple phone. I mean, a lot of it seems to be very constricted that you have to have that. Now, on the flip side, with Android, you can have if you have a Samsung phone, you can have a Samsung watch, or you can just have another Android watch that will still be compatible to it via Android. So it opens up a big floodgate. So the question is, now, after all these years, am I sticking with Apple? Well, if you have a slice of apple every day for a number of years, well, once in a while you might want, I don't know, banana pie instead of apple pie, right? You might want to change it up, right? Maybe you want pecan, maybe you want peach. You want to change up the flavor, and I honestly think that's a great thing. When I worked for a certain cable company, I would, every time I was up for a new phone, I would swap between Apple and Android. I wanted to see how the other lived. But for the past several years, I've been on Apple, and honestly, I'm missing the freedom of Android. Now, they may not push their updates as quickly as Apple does, but they do some amazing innovations with AI. I think right now, Android is possibly where it's going to be at. But the question is, for you, how do you feel about Apple? Are you tired of the taste? Has Apple gotten rotten to you? And I think that Apple needs to do something refreshing. I think for their iPhone, was it going to be 17 this coming fall? iPhone 17, they need to shake it up. Okay, they need to shake it up. They need to do something. Offer some different colors. Maybe, I don't know, maybe change the shape a little bit. Maybe move the camera. A lot of people tend to like how the Pixel's camera is a bar going straight across, and you spread out the cameras and their sensors. Maybe that's something that they should do. But they need to do something. They need to shake it up. Okay? I will admit, Samsung with the Ultra, they're the only one that really has a pen right now. But I know a lot of people who still use the pen. My wife has an S23 Ultra. She loves her pen. She loves her Bluetooth. There's no more Bluetooth in the pens currently for the S25 Ultras. However, there are ways around that if you use it for the shutter. You can get anyone who's into photography, if you buy like an inexpensive tripod, a lot of times they'll include like a small little, almost like a key fob that's Bluetooth. You can sync that up to your phone and use that as a remote clicker. I've done that plenty of times. So there are ways around that. But right now, when it comes to it, Apple's always been a solid build. But I have to beg the question, why no innovations? Why no change? And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of, let's just say, polarizing comments in the chat below. But guess what? The thing is, though, this is my opinion. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Will I return to Apple? Who knows? But right now, their ecosystem is not appealing to me. I've never had an Apple Watch. I have an iPad because I like to have the bigger screen for when I would do some editing. Okay? It's great for if I'm, doing some video chatting with family members. There's a lot of things that, it's a tablet. I will say this. I've had better experience with the iPad than I have had with the Samsung tablet. My last Samsung tablet was bought like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Maybe I'll go in on a new one, and we'll see how that works out. But I like to be versed in all technologies. But right now, Apple's not doing anything fantastic, and right now their trade-in value is a couple $100 less than Samsung. Now we're going to do a separate video on Samsung, so stay tuned for that, guys. But guys, let me know your comments in the section below, guys. If you liked this video, give me that thumbs up. If you didn't, let me know in the comment section below, as always. If there's something you guys want me to cover, is there a phone you want me to look into, is there a test you want me to do, let me know in the comment section below, as always. And of course, guys, you can always reach me at Daves_Dimension on Instagram, or email me at davesdimension78@gmail.com. But guys, I'm really feeling like Apple needs to do something. They do great technology, leaps and bounds with AI. Their video quality has always been tremendous. But I'm at the point where I'm kind of like, well, I got to go take a look at Android, and we'll see which Android I go with. One of the things that's kept me here was I was a big fan of using iTunes for music. But I can easily take those files, convert them, and use the old Windows player, Windows Media Player, or some other third-party softwares out there to convert my music over so that I can easily just upload it onto an Android. And that's probably what I'm going to be doing, guys. But guys, until next time, this is Dave from Dave's Dimension saying keep on busting. And you know what I'm going to say. I say it every single time. I will always catch you on the flip side. Take care, guys.